The 2017 BMW HP4 Race. Public demand for race-ready road bikes has never been higher, and the folks down at the Bayerische Motoren Werke are trying to take that momentum to the bank with its HP4 Race. Like many of its track day competitors have recently done, BMW set about the business of mini-mass producing a bike that carries as much of its factory team race gear as they are comfortable sharing with the world. However, the factory isn't risking much in this bid for a slice of the hardcore race fan market with a limited edition run of 750 hand-built superbike units, so in addition to the obvious attraction of the technology and power, we can add rarity to the curb appeal. Here we have a 215 horsepower engine pushing the world's first all-carbon fiber frame with a veritable alphabet soup of features that are surely indispensable for racers looking for an edge. Continue reading for my review of the BMW HP4 Race. Design. Lest you think this is some sort of road-ready race replica, it just ain't that kind of bike. Given the nature and origin of this bike, it goes without saying that form follows function was the order of the day. A sharp lip at the leading edge of the fairing leads the way with a very low-profile windscreen up top and a wind funnel cowling scoop below. Since this is built to be a dedicated closed-circuit bike, the factory wasted no time, space, weight on mounting a headlight. Indeed, there are no lights anywhere on the entire bike lest you think this is some sort of road-ready race replica. It just ain't that kind of bike. The vented engine cowling houses the radiator and hides most of the engine from view, and is designed to siphon off engine heat while producing as little drag-inducing interference with the slipstream as possible. Short clip-on handbars pull the rider fully into the Superman jockey position, while the tapered waist at the rear of the fuel tank leaves plenty of room for body English. The subframe rises in the rear for an aggressive, nose-down stance, and it tapers to an aerodynamic point with enclosing panels underneath to further combat power-robbing drag. Naturally, we have no tail light housing or tag holder to worry about, so the ass end is clean as a whistle. At the dashboard we have a 2D cluster that displays all pertinent information in real time for the pilot while recording and storing a history track for later analysis. Chassis. With carbon fiber, the power-to-weight ratio is looking pretty good right about now. These bikes are special from the ground up. Beamer starts with a super light, 17.19-pound carbon fiber frame and then stiffens it with stressed skin monocoque body panels. Though expensive to produce, the frame construction pays dividends at final weigh with a race-ready wet weight of only 377 pounds. Yeah, the power-to-weight ratio is looking pretty good right about now. Beamer went all out with the carbon fiber possibilities by using it to lighten the 17-inch wheels as well for even more weight savings. Pirelli supplies the Diavolo Superbike Slick SC2 tires with a 120/70ths up front and a fat 260ths in back, and of course, they come with a ZR speed rating. The steering head comes set at 24.5 degrees from the factory, but it can be adjusted to plus or minus 1 degree in half-degree increments. Of course, this gives us a variable trail figure that can swing from 3.74 inches to 4.4 inches long, so you can dial in the cornering abilities and feel quite a bit. The swingarm pivot is likewise adjustable, as is the fork bridge offset, so you can really shape the footprint of the bike to your preferences. Additionally, the pilot foot pegs can be moved to any one of 8 positions, so you have the ability to shape the rider's triangle quite a bit as well. Suspension is top-shelf stuff with Öhlins products all around. First off, we have the adjustable SDO52 steering damper to help you tame the kickback. Next, we have the FGR 300 Superbike World Cup fork that allows for quick front tire changes and provides the full range of suspension adjustments. Finally, the TTX 36GP monoshock supports the rear end with the full adjustments to include spring preload as well as compression and rebound damping in both the low and high-speed range. Rear wheel articulation is managed by the welded aluminum swingarm that comes built to withstand the forces of race day use while keeping unsprung weight low at the rear wheel. Beamer serves up a big slice of stop with its choice of brakes. We have a trio of 4-pot, titanium piston, monoblock binders grabbing the twin, 320mm front discs and single 200mm rear disc, all courtesy of Brembo Racing. The RCS 19x18 handbrake pump comes with an adjustable lever for even more tunability and control. Drivetrain. With the short stroke layout, the torque numbers are going to fall off a bit, but at 88 pounds of grunt, even the torque metrics are respectable. Beamer took its tried and true S1000RR engine and souped it up to meet World Cup standards. Much of this soupage comes courtesy of the high lift intake and exhaust cams that actuate the 4-valve heads. The 999cc capacity comes split across the inline-4 configuration, and as you'd expect, compression is through the roof at 13.7 to 13.9 to 1. Oh well, you knew it took race gas before we ever started. Decidedly oversquare, the mill runs an 80mm bore and 49.7mm stroke, and that short stroke layout is where a lot of the 215 horsepower comes from. Naturally the torque numbers are going to fall off a bit, but at 88 pounds of grunt, even the torque metrics are respectable. Max power kicks in at an alarmingly high 13,900 revolutions per minute, and max torque comes on at an even 10 grand, so this is definitely an engine that likes to be wound up tight. Beamer thoughtfully provides the tools needed to manage the beating heart. First up is the lean angle sensing dynamic traction control that comes with 4 riding modes for variable levels of intervention. An engine brake function provides a variety of settings so you can control the amount of back torque, and like the traction control, it can be tailored on a gear-by-gear basis. We also have a wheelie control to prevent moonshots, a pit lane speed limiter and launch control to round out the electronic wizardry. A 6-speed gearbox and mechanical slipper clutch makes the final connection to the rear wheel. Price. If you have the means and you gotta have one, more power to you. I thought last year when I looked at the HP4 Race that the price would come in at the low 6 figures. I was wrong. MSRP for 2018 is $78,000, so pricey, yeah, but considering what you get, it's right in there. If you have the means and you gotta have one, more power to you. Competitors. If you actually do race, you don't need me to tell you about the bikes. You have people. There are a number of road-ready race replicas out there right now, but to compare apples to apples there was but one choice for me, the RC213 VS from Honda. Both of these rides come with wind-tunnel-tested body panels and fairings, and to be honest, aesthetics are really rather meaningless when you're looking at bikes of this caliber. One huge difference worth mentioning would be the fact that the Honda product comes with mirrors and the necessary lights for use on public roads. That opens it up to folks who may never look to get any closer to the racetrack than the parking lot. Honda runs a fancy set of bones to be sure, but nothing close to the space-age tech in the carbon fiber BMW skeleton. Fully adjustable, inverted front forks are a constant across the board, as are the Brembo brake products, so neither ride gets any real advantage here. Honda takes a beating at the dyno. Don't get me wrong, the 101 ponies and 66 pounds grunt is respectable enough from a 1-liter mill, but it's pushing 379 pounds dry versus 321 pounds dry with the carbon fiber HP4. Factor in the 215 horsepower from the Beamer mill and Honda is pretty much done. Granted, skill can make up for a lot, but we're talking about double the horsepower pushing much less weight here, and that gives the HP4 Race a definite edge. I'm not even going to talk about price. If you actually do race, you don't need me to tell you about the bikes. You have people. He said. Really cool stuff. Beamer gets kudos for the bike itself, but I'm afeared that making it a pure race bike that lacks the road-legal lighting will be kind of like shooting themselves in the foot, since that cuts out all the wanna-be racers and hardest of hardcore race fanatics. Oh well, maybe Beamer will offer a road conversion kit with subsequent models. We'll see. She said. My wife and fellow motorcycle rider, Alan Hinton, says, I don't even know what to say about this bike. It's so far out of my league, it's intimidating just being near it. I'm just gonna stand back and observe from afar. It's like what you always wanted sex to be, but weren't brave enough to try it. Specifications. References. Honda RC213 VS. See our review of the Honda RC213 VS. BMW S1000RR. See our review of the BMW S1000RR.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.